first ball, their first uniform, their first number, their first teammate, their first goal, their first coach. We take great care in making sure their first isn't their last. We're so much more than a soccer class. Come play with us today at kickstarttoddlersoccer.com.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75. Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
We like to do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty.
My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Are you looking to grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Base Camp Fitness Troy, opening up this March, will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn, all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founders rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Base Camp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
I watch soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
لا تنسون تتابعونا على Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I like to watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
Me gusta mirar fútbol en Michigan Soccer Network.
I watch soccer on Michigan Soccer Network.
I love watching soccer on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Back to Vitriol. He'll take a shot, and he'll bear it! And then he'll fire it from Billows, and it'll go in! Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in! Oh, and both goals so far. He'll fire one, and that's a wonderful save, Trinity. That's missed. Oh, it's Stone! And the... He'll fire one now from distance, and that is in! What a strike by Ben Maher! It is Tuesday morning. It's February 28th. It's the last Tuesday of the month, and it is the morning overlap here with Steve and John, but no Steve. It's Craig Hearn today here in studio for the first time. Man, Craig, welcome to the show.
Thanks, John. Appreciate you having me, man.
Well, we're excited to have you. It's going to be a good conversation here today. We're going to talk about who should the U.S. men's national team hire next. We'll go through some candidates. We'll talk about the process a little bit more. Before we get into that, though, if it's your first time stopping in or just checking out the show, we are now on all platforms, so not just on YouTube anymore. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. Twitch will be next week, and who knows, maybe there's like 30 more we'll put ourselves on, whatever, right? But either way, it's Tuesday, and we are live here in the Premier Sports Center studio, located 23 Mile Road in Shelby Township. They got golf, indoor soccer. I mean, we just saw a Summit homeschooling program out there practicing here just a little while ago. But either way, it is Tuesday. It's the morning overlap. And let's get into this, Craig. And first off, if you don't know Craig, I think it's important to kind of maybe say a little bit about who you are, because maybe some of our audience doesn't necessarily know who Craig Hearn is. So let's do that as I bring in our I would say our intimate camera look here. So Craig, talk about yourself a little bit.
All right, so if people know me, they know me as probably a former player here in the state of Michigan. I played at Michigan State University way back in the day, about 20 some odd years ago now. And then I played for Detroit City FC for their first year when they were kicking off their venture. And I still do some work with DCFC. I still hover around. I'm at most of the games. And I still play soccer. I'm 42 and I'm still playing 2-3 times a week at a lot of the local facilities. Or you might know me from We Are Soccer. So we also have a soccer show. We like to say we don't compete. We kind of coexist with MSN, and we love what you guys do. It's a little different from what we do. We go live at We Are Soccer at this point once a week, Sunday night for 2 hours, just talking about pro soccer, youth soccer, and a little bit of everything. So if it has something to do with soccer, we're talking about it. But we normally stick around the pro level, DCFC and above. We do a lot of English Premier League, Bundesliga, MLS. That's kind of our thing. So that's how people might know me. And if they don't, well, now you do.
Well, yeah, and it's cool because we love what We Are Soccer does. And to be fair, there's only at this point I think there's just 3 of us in this state. It might be when I say 3 of us, there's We Are Soccer, there's Michigan Soccer Central, Michigan Soccer Network, and all 3 of us collectively are trying to lift the game of soccer here in Michigan and abroad. You guys have a great show on Sunday nights. What you guys are doing there is fantastic. And then, what the partnership with them, Michigan Soccer Central, we have a connection with them as well. So it's really kind of cool how this all kind of works. You should follow and subscribe to We Are Soccer and Michigan Soccer Central, obviously to us as well. Because you are, after all, right now watching my show, so it's like just hit the button, right?
Hit that subscribe button, right?
but yeah, so there's something I want to start this conversation off as we talk about hiring the next coach of U.S. Soccer. Is we've had this conversation before, me and you, and I know a lot of other people in the community. Is how far are we away? Is the next coach whoever that coach would be? Is it going to have an impact on getting the U.S. men's national team further along in the World Cup?
That's a great question. Listen, the U.S. soccer right now is in disarray, in my opinion. They're in a whole heap of trouble coming out of the World Cup, which they did very well in. I thought they did very well. They showed very well. They showed the world they could stand up and actually perform and be where they need to be. And you would think from that performance and from that World Cup that we're going to push forward, because 2026 is here in North America. Most of the games, a good percentage of the games, are here in America, and this is a crucial time in U.S. soccer history. This is going to be the time period where people are going to look back and go, the game really grew and really came together, and U.S. soccer did it right. Or it's going to be, well, they missed the mark. It is a crucial point right now. And unfortunately, as I said, they're in a whole heap of trouble because they don't have a general manager, they don't have a sporting director, they don't have a head coach. I don't think they know what they're doing. We heard that they've sent out offers to Zinedine Zidane. How are you sending out offers to one of the most high-profile coaches in the world without actually having a sporting director? And I think before we jump into the kind of coaching candidates, I think we should kind of talk about, when the time is right here, what a sporting director does, because I don't think a lot of people understand what a sporting director really does in a federation.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, how can you hire someone when you don't have the people who? It's like you're hiring a football coach. You don't typically hire a football coach before you hire a general manager, right? You hire a general manager, and then you hire a football coach. And sometimes they come together, right? We know how that works in football, and that's why I like the morning overlap, because we can actually overlap in other sports and talk about that. I mean, why would you hire a coach? Why would you be sending out? What's the offer even look like? I mean, because when Jurgen Klinsmann took over the U.S. men's national team, he changed the youth coaching process in this country dramatically. And some would say maybe in not good ways, and others in better ways, right? But he changed that landscape, and you would want your new coach who's coming in to have some impact on the youth game, because that's where these players are going to come from.
Right.
So how do you? And again, I don't know much about a sporting director and their role either, but my guess would be is that as part of the sporting director's role, their job is to work with the coach to figure out a plan to make sure that we can get people and players into all across this country into the quote unquote like the pathway towards making it to the national team.
You nailed it. So yeah, the next coach who comes in has to start it's not just the U.S. men's national team. That's what everybody sees. It's not just that. It's what happens at the U20, U17 level. They dictate a lot of those things. The players coming in, the formation they want to play, the sporting director and the new coach work together to figure out, this is the best formation that we want our U17s to play. This is what we want our U20s to play. These are players we've identified to bring in and that we can groom up into the U.S. men's national full team. And you're right. I really like putting it towards football, right? So football, everybody here in this country knows football. Why would you hire a coach and then a couple of months later hire the general manager? The general manager has his own view of what style of football he wants to play and what kind of coach he wants. You're going to put him into a role that already has a head coach. We saw how that happens with the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
They brought in a coach, and then a couple months later brought in a new general manager. He gave him a year, and then he was gone, and the general manager brought in his own coach. All right, not a good idea. So Cindy Parlow-Cone, the president of U.S. Soccer, needs to get her house in order.
Yep.
She needs to get a new sporting director because Ernie Stewart's on his way out. He's already decided he wants out. And Brian McBride, the general manager, has left. One of the big things I don't think a lot of people are talking about is, why are they leaving? Because think about this. We are 3.5 years away from the biggest event of soccer, and it happens here in our country. As you said, World Cup 2026 is happening in North America. Percentage of the games being played here in the United States. Why are those two people leaving? Why have other people within the organization left in the last 12 months or so? I think when Cindy Parlow-Cone came in, these guys recognized, okay, the old boys club that we have going it's gonna fall apart here. She's either gonna ask us to leave, or she's gonna find things out that we've done or that we've kind of just skirted over, and it's time for us to leave. If you think about it, when Greg Berhalter came in, it was a chance right there before, when we were hiring at that point, to go out and do a world search. Who is the best coach to lead us? they interviewed 2 people.
Yeah.
Ernie Stewart and that group interviewed 2 people. Berhalter got the job. Most people say because his brother was part of the U.S. Soccer Federation. I don't know if I believe that, but again, Ernie Stewart, Brian McBride, everybody, all the old boys club in the back room figured out, well, this is our guy. He has the same, he knows everything about us. We know everything about him. This is just our guy. We're going to go with it. I will say, after saying that, I will say that I think Greg Berhalter did a very nice job. I think he did a good job getting the U.S. qualified. He won numerous awards. He beat our arch rivals Mexico several times for us. But this next step for Cindy Parlow-Cohn is to get the general manager, get the sporting director, get those set. And the rumors are that they want to get those set and the new coach in place by the end of the summer. So about 6 months we've got. I think it needs to speed up. I think we need to see progress now.
Yeah, I agree. And, I mean, the good thing about all this is that the U.S., Mexico, and Canada automatically qualify for World Cup. So there's not like this immediate pressure to put a really good product in the field and go out and compete in World Cup qualifying here in a couple of years. So that's the good part of this. But I actually think they were leaving because of self-preservation.
Sure.
I think in today's world, especially in soccer, it's crazy how fast teams and ownership groups want to fire managers as quickly as they do. And I'm not saying that managers don't need a bit of time to kind of build, but it seems like sometimes we see coaches getting fired 8 games into a season, 11 games into a season, and I understand that, hey, there's pressure, it's relegation, there's promotion, especially across the pond, right? I mean, there's a lot more pressure with that. But you're seeing all these different things happening. Jesse Marsch was obviously let go from Leeds, right? And they talk about where he's going to be going next, and he's obviously a candidate, for to be U.S. men's national team coach. I think self-preservation for Ernie Stewart and Brian McBride, I mean, they look at what happened here. All this disarray would happen after the World Cup, and now it's like, I just kind of want to remove myself from this and get away from this because this is just bad, and I don't want to be associated with it, and maybe they can come back in the future. Who knows? But it's a great question. Here's the deal. We're gonna step aside. Nate got a comment in here. I want to.
Oh, good Lord.
So there's only one man for the job. Is his comment?
Look, I'm gonna say right now that one man has just taken the South Korea job. Nate. He should be. Nate knows.
Is
that.
he thinking he wants Jurgen back?
He loves Jurgen Klinsmann.
Yeah, I actually liked Jurgen when he was the coach. I thought that again, there are things you like about him. I think there's things you don't like about him. But I think what we're trying to do here in this country is we're trying to be something that we're not. I think we have to play our style of soccer with the right personnel, and we can't be something that we're not. And I have a feeling we're trying to do that. And maybe that's why it didn't work out with Jurgen. But either way, what we're going to do is this. We're going to step aside to our first break. It's Tuesday morning. It's 28th. And when it's Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday at Granite City of Troy. They offer $10 taco trios with chips and salsa and $3 margaritas. Now, I don't know if you want to have that at 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe around 11. I don't know. But either way, it's Taco Tuesday all day long at Granite City. You can head over to the corner of 16 and I-75 or the one in Northville at 7 Mile and Haggerty. But we'll be back here with the morning overlap here on the Michigan Soccer Network on the other side of the break. Right back.
To grow here in 2023? Let the Michigan Soccer Network help you and your restaurant fill more seats. Help you and your law firm get new clients. Help you and your dental practice find more patients. Find more roofing customers for this upcoming summer. And to help you and your medical practice find new patients. To learn more or get started, visit MichiganSoccerNetwork.com. Don't just burn calories, torch those little suckers. Basecamp Fitness Troy opening up this March will help you get maximum results in half the time. Our intensity intervals of cardio and strength training will supercharge your calorie burn all in just 35 minutes. Make sure to lock in our founders rate and claim your 2-week risk-free trial by scanning the QR code on your screen. Basecamp Fitness Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road in Troy, Michigan. Granite City Food and Brewery has 2 Michigan locations in Troy and Northville. Serves made-from-scratch food, brews in-house beer, and even has brunch every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To learn more about their daily specials or to book a private party, visit gcfb.com. Make sure you head over to Granite City in Northville at the corner of 7 Mile and Haggerty, or the Troy location at 16 Mile and I-75.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
We're just saying action. Yeah. And action. Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters. And check out, we're the Tilly Sisters. Check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network. You weren't looking Hi, we're the Tilly Sisters. And you can check out our journey on the Michigan Soccer Network. Do it around the, all right. I'll just go like this. All right. Oh, wait, what are we saying?
Ooh, welcome back. Tuesday morning, the Morning Overlap. Jonathan Turner, Craig Hearn here, live on the Michigan Soccer Network on our YouTube page, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Twitch will be coming soon. Maybe some more. We're having this conversation about who should the U.S. men's national team hire next. And during the break, we had some comments coming in. Edward Hudson, Ed Hudson, said Jim Curtin the best option. Is what he says. And Nate says Stuttgart. I think it's Stuttgart. I had to read that there. Brooks Lambier, you're wrong, Nate. It's Thierry Henry. We're getting now. We are soccer. The whole crowd is getting in here. This is fantastic. As we're going to continue this conversation. Before the break, we talked about the fact that there's a lack of sporting director, lack of leadership right now. In the U.S. men's national team camp. And how can you even consider hiring a coach if you don't have the director in place, a general manager in place? And it's a great point. But I think us as pundits and members of the media now, I oftentimes get weird saying that because we are now members of the media. Do
you know how many times I have to say this is off the record to my friends?
I know, right?
My friends in soccer, they're like, this is off the record. I'm like, you know what? I'm not. Yes, I know what you're talking about, John.
So, but we are in this conversation now, and I think it's important for us to talk about this, is the potential candidates. Now, I had a chance, and you as well, to review some candidates here this week. There's 13 that have kind of come about, and then there's a few more I know that are kind of maybe, above or below people's radars. And I want to get through this list, and I'm just going to ask you a point blank, what you think of these candidates. We're going to start with number 13 on this list, Giovanni van Bronckhorst. Why it makes sense, the Dutch top-tier Dutch international. He's been there within Champions League group stage for the first time in 12 years. But is he a good candidate for the United States?
No. I don't think he has a sense of how U.S. soccer works. I don't think he hasn't coached at the international level. He is a good coach, but no, this is a very important time, and we need someone who's done this before. And I'd cross him off the list.
So we're going to just cross him off the list. Fair enough. Okay, so then we're going to go to number 12 on this list, and this is Robin Fraser, Colorado Rapids head coach, MLS. Now, based on what you just said a moment ago, does this even in the realm?
Robin Fraser, 2 years ago, should have been manager of the year in the MLS. He is a very good coach, but he is very young in his managerial tenure. He doesn't have quite the experience that I think is needed. I don't think he has the backroom staff that's needed or could put together the backroom staff that's needed. Again, no international level experience. A good coach does understand the American soccer landscape, but for me, there's better candidates out there.
Okay, that's fair. And I guess while we're going through this, as we cross Robin off the list, how much of an experience of a head coach matters at this level compared to that of having a really, really super duper assistant
Sure.
squad of coaches?
That's a great question. And a lot of people don't understand that. In the American soccer landscape, this is the American sports landscape. Soccer is like any other. It is unlike any other sport, right? You've got, let's just say, the Olympics for basketball. You pick Mike Krzyzewski or Chuck Daly back in the day, right? And these guys, they coach in the NBA or college. They know the players. They know everything. They come together for a summer. They work together for a few weeks, go out and win the Olympics. Great, easy enough. For an international coach, it is completely different from being a club coach. A club coach gets to work with players every single day, multiple training sessions, multiple video sessions, gets to know what motivates the players, gets to know them and their thinking intimately. So a club coach is a day-to-day coach that can work and mold and really change how the ship is going for their club and their team. An international coach gets to see the players 15 times a year at the absolute most, and it's for a week here and maybe 2 weeks there. It is hard to put a system and a formation and really a thinking into play and a culture into place if you don't have the right backroom staff. So I know currently the USA is without a full-time head coach. They do have an interim coach, Coach Hudson, and he has a backroom staff right now that a lot of the players know. And right now, those coaches, Hudson and the backroom staff, are out in Europe watching games, meeting with the players, talking with them, figuring out what's going on. Excuse me. And that's what they need to do. That's what an international coach does. They go out and watch a lot of games. They meet with the players for coffee, for dinner, whatever it may be. It's not, hey, we're on the soccer field today, training you, teaching you, doing video sessions. It's just meeting. It's checking in. It's a lot of texting. International coaches have to have this grandiose idea, but they have to be able to take that grandiose idea and put it into a week training session when they actually get these kids, these players. And it's not always the same players. If you think about it, for the past year, Christian Pulisic's been injured most of the time. So is Gio Reyna. So he wasn't able to come in. So you've got all these players coming in and out. It's a very tough process. And I think a lot of people, what we should say before we start really getting into these candidates is a lot of coaches don't want to be international coaches. It's almost like a retirement league. You don't go to be an international coach if you are one of the most sought-after coaches in the world. I will give you the example of Gareth Southgate at England. He was a manager of Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
And was doing okay. He was an okay coach, but there was 20-some-odd coaches who were way better than him and way more tactically just better. And why didn't they get the job? Because they don't want to go coach international. They don't want to talk to players once a week and then meet with them every other month. The big coaches, the good coaches who really want to impact the game and have success and win trophies want to be at the club level. So I think it's international coaching. International soccer is unlike anything else, any American sporting, league or whatever it is, because it's just so different.
Well, as you mentioned too, because you're in your normal, if you're MLS coach, you're in the across the pond, you're playing and with players who are always there. It's consistent, and it can impact. You're having games on a regular basis, and at the international level, you're having games, once every 3 months. So you do 3 every 6 months, and then there's a break again, right? And then you come back, and there's a whole new group of players because some players are committed, right? When you're playing in your leagues, these friendlies don't mean as much, so you're not getting the best product on the field. I agree with you. And then, we got a lot of comments coming in here. Let's get to a couple of these here. Ask Craig if he would pick one person to coach. Why would it not be Thierry Henry as their option?
All right, let's get this out of the way. Thierry Henry right now, a lot of people think this is a good pick for the U.S. men's national team manager. I've heard Brooks, for one, just so everybody's aware, Brooks is on the We Are Soccer show, and we've had this discussion. Brooks is all over the Thierry Henry head coaching candidate. He loves that candidate, and a lot of other people do. He is a very, in a non-sexual way, sexy pick for the U.S. men's national. Why? Because he was one of the best players in the Premiership. He scored goals galore. He has coaching experience. He's got international assistant coaching experience. But here are his stats. Thierry Henry has managed 25 games.
Yep.
For the Montreal Impact in the MLS. He won 8.
Oh.
He won 8 out of 25, lost 15. He stepped down after a year because of family issues. Understandable. Before that, he was at Monaco. Highly, highly sought after. Monaco paid him a lot of money. He was there for 104 days. He won 5 of his 20 matches. On the sideline, he insulted one of the opponent's grandmothers, and it's come out now that a lot of the players at Monaco didn't like him, didn't like his motivational tactics, and overall, he's won 25% of the games that he's managed. I'm sorry, he doesn't have enough experience. He may have been the assistant coach for Belgium for a couple of years under Roberto Martinez, but that doesn't count for me. Not a good candidate, in my opinion, for someone who needs to be able to take the USA to the next level of soccer. So, in my opinion, USA Soccer, just cross him off the list. Not even close.
To be frank, he's not even on this list. Didn't make the cut. But coming at number 11 on the list is, well, the former coach.
Yep.
Like, do we even call him former anymore? I mean, I feel like we have to call him former because they haven't really said he's not coming back, right? I mean, they haven't really actually said that, but he's not there right now. Greg Berhalter is coming in number 11 on this list.
He was actually in Michigan. He was at Total Sports Wixom the other day watching his daughter play.
Very cool.
And I'm going to become the most unpopular person on the internet right now. I like Greg Berhalter as a coach.
Okay.
I like him. I think he needs to be put up in the top 3 candidates here. I believe he did a very nice job at the World Cup, 2023 World Cup here, 2022 World Cup, sorry. I think he did exactly what USA Soccer asked him to do, right? He
got him there.
He got them. He qualified. He also, where did it go? Gold Cup. He won the Gold Cup.
Yep.
He won the Gold Cup. He beat Mexico several times. He qualified. You know what else? I spoke to a U.S. men's national team player about Greg Berhalter, and I can't say his name, but the player said, we all bought in with what he was selling. We all actually bought in. We were all moving in one direction, and we really enjoyed playing for him. He is a very good man manager. He managed the egos. He managed the motivational pieces for every single player. We enjoyed having him. It's a shame that he will not be returning. Now that was in January when I spoke to that player, and I tell you what, and I just went, what was wrong? Why are we getting rid of him because of the stuff that's come out with the Reinas and what Greg Berhalter did to his wife back in the 90s? This is the only reason we have gotten rid of him. I think if that stuff hadn't have come out, I think he'd still be the coach. I think they would have offered him a new contract, and moving forward, he would still be the coach to this day. Can he come back now as the coach? It's debatable. I would like to see him given a fair crack at it. Unfortunately, one of the best young players, Gio Reyna, and Greg Berhalter do not see eye to eye, do everything that came out. And that just, I don't know how to get past that impasse.
Yeah, I honestly, I think had those things not happened, I don't think we're having a conversation about there being no sporting director and no general manager being gone either. Right, so I think that those two things played a part in self-preservation, as we talked about. I agree with you on Greg Berhalter. I've talked about this before. I said, hey, his job, his task was to get the men's team back to the World Cup after failing in 2018. He did that. And then they overachieved in this World Cup. I don't think anyone looking at that roster, looking at the youth of the roster, thought that they, hey, be competitive, right? But to get through the group and to play in a meaningful match that they did, they overachieved. And to be fair, they were a really good team against the Netherlands. I mean, they were really good. They unfortunately they had those mental errors of a youth team, a young team that just didn't connect in those moments. But I felt in that game, looking at possession and opportunity, that the United States men's national team gave the Netherlands a run for their money, and they just but good teams do what good teams do. They score and they win.
Absolutely. What people don't realize is, or maybe they've forgotten, the USA was the second youngest team in the World Cup. So the goal of this past World Cup was not to win it. It was to get as far as you can, advance the sport, advance us in the sport, we all knew that everybody in this country was going to be watching, right? Millions upon millions of people watched every single game. Casual fans got on board with U.S. men's soccer because of this World Cup. That was the goal. It was to get the casual fan involved, get them watching, play well, but start to take this very young, second youngest team in the World Cup, start to mold that team and grow them for 2026. 2026 is when we really want to push all our cards in and really want to go at it. Greg Berhalter, just one kind of last thing on him, 60 games in charge. He lost 11. He lost 11 out of 60. He had 37 wins for the U.S. men's national team. I don't see the issue. He had players who wanted to play for him. He had wasn't the most attractive soccer in the world. There were some issues, don't get me wrong, but again, he did the job. He did the job that we asked him to, and I think he was going to be going to continue in the job if it wasn't coming out for the text messages and all the stuff that he did way back in the day. So I still hope that he is given a fair crack. And listen, if any one of these other candidates is better than him, then great. I don't care who it is, but I hope he's given a fair crack because he should be.
Well, I agree. I agree wholeheartely. And we're going to head to our second break. But before we do, Basecamp Fitness of Troy. Get maximum results in half the time. They're opening up here in March, offering 35-minute high-intensity training programs. A whole body, they call them the HIT. Lock in the founder's rate and scan the QR code on your screen now to get a risk-free 2-week trial. So Basecamp of Troy, located at 443 East Big Beaver Road. To inquire more about memberships, you can call 586-416-1800 or head over to basecampfitness.com. And the morning overlap, we'll be back here on the other side of the break.
Our mission is to help players take their game to the next level and reach their potential. We help players develop fundamental technical skills such as ball control in tight spaces, dribbling at speed and changing direction, using a variety of 1v1 skills, receiving and finishing from different situations such as volleys, headers, one touch, and off the dribble, with and without pressure. In addition, we help players increase their speed of play, dominate with their off-the-ball movement, awareness of space, defenders, and teammates. We offer a variety of services such as one-on-ones, small groups, as well as large groups and team sessions. We have an experienced coaching staff that is professional, friendly, patient, while still holding players to high standards and holding them accountable. Over the past 3 years, we've built one of the best soccer-specific training facilities in the country. We've also developed one of the most detail-oriented training programs to help out players. No matter what level you're at as a player, I'm confident we can help you get better. For more information, visit our website, evolutionperformancetraining.com, or text or call 248-818-3943.
Now Worrell has a good cutback from him. He'll fire one, and that's going to go in!
Call or two, or they think they saw something, and then that kid from that team goes into a tackle extra hard, and now his emotion, he gets up pushing and shoving, and so there's sometimes those things can transpire and push themselves into the game, which is not what we want. And Of course,
Steve, we have our first phone call.
We got a phone call.
We have a phone call.
Oh, well, well, John, I mean, if we got a phone call, we should probably take the phone call.
So thank you for calling in here to the Overlap Show here with Steve and John. Who we have on the line?
Yeah, this is Jacob Little.
Well, Jacob Little. There.
Oh, he even put his whole name out there. I was expecting John from Detroit just to call and be safe.
He's going to say first time, long time is what he's going to say.
Welcome in, Jacob.
So welcome into the show. Your comments here on parents being better or worse.
I'm a husband. I'm a father.
I'm a sister.
I'm a son. I'm a brother.
I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I'm a referee.
I'm a referee.
I am a referee.
I'm a referee.
To do it before we go out on the weekend.
We do.
We do it every week.
Whether we need to or not.
We did it today.
It was really dirty. My parents do it every day.
Hey, kiddo!
Do it every day with the Unlimited Club only at Jack's Car Wash. Protect your car from the hot summer sun, dust, dirt, and contaminants all summer long with the Jack's Unlimited Club.
Join today, starting at just $24.99 a month.
Welcome back here in the Premier Sports Center studios located 23 Mile Road in Shelby Township. Watching soccer every single day when I come to the office here, and we're continuing this conversation on who should the U.S. men's national team hire next. Before I get into that, though, FC Barcelona Soccer Camp is coming. It is an exclusive opportunity to learn the mythologies of the unique Barca style. FC Barcelona's coaches will arrive across the United States to conduct this training sessions and teach you the techniques of one of the most successful soccer academies in the world. Coming this July 3rd through the 7th, Barca is coming to the Legacy Sports Center in Brighton, Michigan. All you got to do is register at camps.fcbarcelona.us and use promo code FCBMSN and save $30 off registration. So that's coming here July 3rd and July 3rd through the 7th, right through 4th of July. I guess the holiday weekend does not matter, but who cares? Soccer does.
Yeah.
That's right. As we get back into this conversation, and before the break, talking about just these different opportunities and different candidates. This next candidate in this conversation, Steve Cherundolo. I want to get your thoughts on this right away. What are your thoughts on this candidate?
Good coach, very good coach, young coach, has done some international stuff, has come back, USL coach, now LAFC coach, did a very good job last year leading LAFC to a MLS Cup final, but unfortunately just not enough coaching experience, in my opinion. If he continues his trajectory, 2030 World Cup could be his time.
Okay, that's fair. And this next one, longtime KC, right? Sporting KC coach, Peter Vermees. I think he just came out. You mentioned he just came out yesterday and said, "Hey, I'm not interested."
Yeah, he has turned down the job. It sounds like he just wants to be a club coach. And as we talked about the differences between club coach and international coach, that's his thing. He said, "No, I'm not interested in the position." Maybe he's playing coy. Maybe that's his tactic to ask for more money in the situation. I don't know, but my feeling is no. He has no serious intention of being the coach. So came out and said, "Nope, don't waste your time with me."
So again, there's a lot of candidates on this list. This next one, Brian Smetzer.
He's done a very nice job up in Seattle. I don't know. He uses a lot of young players up in Seattle, which is a very good thing because USA has a lot of young talent. I just don't see it as a fit personally. He is 60 years old. He's got the right recipe. He's got a nice style of play. I just don't see him as an ideal candidate for the job. I think there's 4 or 5 better candidates out there with more progressive thinking.
Well, there's at least 7 according to this list, so I agree. Which leads us now to the Atlanta United head coach, Tata Martino. Again, another MLS coach.
Well, former Atlanta United coach. Yeah, the problem is he spent some time with Mexico, which actually might not be a bad thing because we do have a lot of Mexican American type players who are playing now for the 17s and the 20s and the U.S. men's national team. Players who have at some point in their life had to decide, are they going to be representing USA or representing Mexico? And quite a few of them, the good players, some of them are very good, have chosen USA. So that might not be a bad thing. He wears out his welcome, though, in a lot of places. He's very bold, plays very nice soccer. In my opinion, he depends on one or two players too much in his style of play. I don't think USA Soccer will interview him and take him as a serious candidate due to his prior relationship with the Mexican Soccer Federation.
I agree with that. And then now this leads us to, we've heard this name quite a bit coming through the comments section. I'll let you lead with this one. Number 6 on this sheet. What do you think?
All right, the special one, right? Jose Mourinho. Rumors are today circling that he could be heading back to Chelsea. Graham Potter at Chelsea's in big trouble right now. Hasn't won, and after all that money that they've spent there. I don't see him coming to the USA as to be the coach. It would require a boatload of money to get him here, and I mean an absolute boatload. To put it in perspective, Greg Berhalter was earning $1.68 million a year to be the U.S. men's national team coach. You might have to times that by 10 to get Jose Mourinho here. He usually is at a place or at a club for 2 to 2.5 years, I think. And then he wears out his welcome. If you are going to bring him here, you have to be prepared for him to be very bold, for him to piss off a lot of people. Again, I don't think he has come out in the past and said he would like to be an international coach, but I don't think this is the right time. And I do think he will actually, with these rumors coming out, I think Chelsea might get him in the next couple of weeks here. He is currently at Roma, and he has done a very nice job at Roma. Took that team who was in disarray and really done a nice job and moved them up the table. But I don't see Jose Mourinho as being the right option, in my opinion.
As we head to number 5 on this list, Mr. Jim Curtin. We've heard this name come up in the earlier parts of this conversation. Philadelphia Union head coach. Mm-hmm. Thoughts?
Yeah, he is. He's one of the top candidates on my list. He is the it coach right now in MLS. He won MLS Coach of the Year last year. Give you some quick stats. He has 132 wins, 65 draws, and 102 losses in his MLS career. He currently is at the Philadelphia Union. His contract expires at the end of this year. So in December of 2023, his contract has expired. He has not signed a new one. I do think he is a great candidate for several reasons. One of them is, over the last 5 years in the MLS, no team has amassed more points than his Philadelphia Union team. So now he's showing longevity. It's not just a flash in the pan 1 year, maybe 2 years, 5 years. His Philadelphia Union has amassed more points than any team in the MLS. He's a very good motivator. A lot of his players have come out and said, listen, I'll run through a brick wall for this man. He gets you going before games. He gets you on board. You buy into what he's selling. I also like that he plays a 4-4-2 with a diamond in the middle, which would suit Pulisic and Giovanni Reina. So I think he's a very, very good candidate. He actually was on a podcast a couple of weeks back and said, listen, I want USA Soccer to go out and explore every single coach in the world and find the best possible fit, whether that's me as an assistant coach or me as a whatever, just helping. He goes, I'm on board. 2026 is the most important year, World Cup for America. And he's like, I want to help. I want to help in any way I can. So if USA Soccer decides that I can help in some way, I'm in. So right there you go. This guy, he just wants to win.
Yeah.
He wants the sport to advance in this country. He just wants to win. He's on board. He even said, he goes, if Jesse March is a candidate and he gets hired, I would love to be his assistant coach. This guy has amassed more points than any coach in the last 5 years in MLS. He was MLS Coach of the Year last year, and he's saying, I wouldn't mind being an assistant coach to another guy the same age. Wow. I mean, you've got someone there who's willing to do whatever it takes. I think Jim Curtin should be in consideration for the job if he wants it, and I'm assuming he would. Again, I like the 4-4-2 formation he plays, diamond in the middle. It would suit USA Soccer down to a T with the players that they have, in my opinion. He, in my opinion, is the number 1 or number 2 candidate.
So since you started talking about the 4-4-2, some comments coming in, not to mention Nate steps in saying, you're kind of stepping over your earlier experience comments. I don't think your comments in regards to international experience, I think it's experience in general. I think if you've had long-term success at a team, as you've mentioned in regards to Jim Curtin, I think the experience conversation can kind of be taken away. It's about like when you talk about Thierry Henry, who's only coached 25 games. Right. That's a lot different than a Jim Curtin who's coached in the hundreds.
Right.
Yep.
And I will say that Jim Curtin sounds like a man who would say, you know what? I don't have the most international experience. Let's go out and find someone who can be my assistant coach who has international experience. From his comments on the podcast a couple of weeks ago that he said, I would be the assistant coach. If I made you the head coach, and Jim, you must go out and find a coach with international experience, you know what he would say? Absolutely. Agree 100%. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I understand that he doesn't have the most international experience, but the other things trump that, in my opinion. And he knows USA Soccer. He knows every single pathway to come through to how to be a pro. He knows how to motivate. He knows a lot of the head coaches and assistant coaches in the MLS, and I think it's important for whatever coach steps into this role must understand how the MLS works and everything around it.
So Nate is stepping up here some more. No, he said international. Also, international is different than club, and it is a very different beast. But at the same time, I get what you're saying, Nate. But experience is experience. And I don't. And again, not knowing the full scope of every single coach out there, how much international experience they may or may not have, I don't know if you could limit yourself to just saying you have to have international coaching experience, because that's really going to close a lot of opportunities on potential coaches.
Absolutely. What would kind of trump that is the fact that he, as I said, is here in the MLS, where a lot of these other coaches we're talking about, they either don't have international experience or they have no idea how the American soccer system works. And it's not just MLS. It's how do these players progress through college? How does the youth system work? And that is a huge, valuable piece of knowledge to have to be the U.S. men's national team coach, because you're not just coaching the U.S. men's national team, full team, the first team. You're coaching the other 50 guys. How did they get here? And then you're coaching the 17s as well, who just qualified as well. So there's a lot more to it. Yes, I have been saying that experience is needed, but listen, it's not a 100% prerequisite.
All right, so we're gonna come back from break here in a second. We're gonna go into that, but before I want to ask this question of you, the viewer, and you, Craig, as well. Before we head to break, if you're the general manager, or well, you're coming in to be the general manager of U.S. Soccer, what's the question you're going to ask to a coach who doesn't have international experience? What's the question that you're going to ask to make me feel good that because you don't have that experience, that you can actually do the job and do it well?
Right.
Right. So we're gonna he's gonna answer that question. I want you guys to answer that question too, because let's be honest. I mean, if we're looking for international experience and it's not out there, we're gonna have to take the next best thing, domestic experience. And does that make a difference in our coaching? We'll find out. But before we do, join Evolution Soccer Training for Finishing Fridays. Every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m., players will receive specialized training dedicated to enhancing your ability to score goals. We need a lot more of those in this country. So visit evolutionperformancetraining.com and use promo code MSN10 to get 10% off your sessions today. You're watching The Morning Overlap on the Michigan Soccer Network.
Thank you for stopping by the Michigan Soccer Network. To not miss out on any of the action, all you have to do is simply hit the subscribe button, and that way you're notified every time we bring new content or go live. Thanks for stopping by.
Clubs love Ollie because it helps them manage their club and accelerate the development of their coaches and players. Every soccer club talks about their focus on development, but nobody actually measures it until now. We've developed the capability for every one of your teams to easily capture pro-level game stats in real time using a mobile phone. It's one thing at the end of the day to look up the results for your club, but how valuable would it be for directors to actually see how each team played? How well did a team possess the ball and control the game? How well did they create dangerous chances inside the box? How did your top players perform? And how is each coach improving from week to week? Ollie provides this powerful data through a club dashboard that shows club results and lets you drill down into any game or player. Ollie also includes team and club management that lets you communicate instantly with coaches, parents, and players, and lets directors see every club event so they can easily coordinate visits to matches and training sessions. It's got everything you need in one simple app. Reach out to us to get your club started today.
We're going to try and win this thing. We're going to go for it, right? You know, you're watching your team, you're watching them play, you're watching them practice. Is this a team you thought at the beginning of the year was going to be there at the end?
Yes. And honestly, I told my team this, and I told a lot of people this. It wasn't unexpected. I think we have a top program. I was actually pretty disappointed that we hadn't won one up until now. I think we've had some great years before, 2016, 2017, 18, even 21, 19. I mean, where things just didn't click. They didn't work out for us at the end of the season, where we had great seasons and didn't work out. But this year, everything came together, and to be honest, it wasn't unexpected.
Okay. No, and that's good. I mean, like, you think about it, you said there's lots of times you watch, and we had Todd Hugh here a few weeks ago, and there was a year that his team did not make it all the way to a state final, and that was the team that he said was the better team that he thought was going to go. And then when they won it, and maybe not been the better team he had, but that's sometimes how it shakes out. Welcome back here in the Premier Sports Center studio in Shelby Township, Michigan. John Turner, Craig Hearn. It's the morning overlap here on the Michigan Soccer Network, and we're excited you're here for this on Tuesday. Coming up on Thursday, we're going to discuss MLS. It just got underway here this weekend. A lot happening. This whole new Apple TV, linear TV is dying, everybody. It's dying. All right? Watching things on YouTube and on Roku's and streaming platforms, that's where everything's going. So we'll talk about that and more here on Thursday. And our college commitment series continues this week. Tomorrow, we've got Eddie Hudson III. We'll have his interview launching on our YouTube channel. And then on Friday, Owen Borkalak, he just committed to college as well. So we'll continue that series coming up here on Wednesday and Friday. But we'll continue our conversation now in regards to who should the U.S. men's national team hire next. And Craig, before the break, I asked the question. I said, if you're the general manager of the U.S. men's national team, what is the question you're going to ask to a Jim Curtin or someone like Jim who does not have the international experience but could very well lead this team into hopefully some success in the future?
Sure. I mean, one of the first things they should say to Jim Curtin is, you don't have that international experience. How are you going to make up for that gap? Because that is a big gap. What is your plan? Is your plan to go get assistant coaches who have been there and done it? Is it to retain the current assistant coaching staff? Is it to bring in someone? How do you close that gap? Because as we said before, it is a big difference between international coaching and club coaching. So how are you going to make that up? What's your plan of attack? And listen, any coach that goes in there and gives a presentation to Cindy Parlow-Cohen and the U.S. Soccer Federation needs to be able to answer that if they do not have that international experience. Because it's not a prerequisite, but it should be something that, hey, you have to have thought of this. You don't have it. How are you going to fix it? How are you going to make up for that? And again, as we said, maybe Jim Curtin doesn't get the job. Maybe he's just an assistant coach to someone who has that experience.
Yeah, and it's a great point. I think sometimes it's good to know if you're talking with someone, if they acknowledge that they're not the smartest in the room, to say that their job is to find people who are smarter than them to help them lead the way. Because, head coaches, as you know, that you said, they have to be out there and they have to be selling players and why they should be playing in their system and doing all these different things that have nothing to do with tactical formations. Right, building rapport, relationships. If your head coach can do that, then you're relying heavily on your assistant coach and coaching staff to help lead the way. And this is what's going to lead us into this next, the final four on this list. And I know you have a few you want to add as well. But number 4 is Tab Ramos, familiar face in U.S. soccer, right? In top 4,
right? Absolutely, one of the most decorated U.S. players. Was coached at the Houston Dynamo for a little bit. Now he's coaching USL. Why didn't he get more opportunities at the MLS coaching level? Why haven't more international teams, clubs come in and asked for him to interview? Why hasn't he been up for more jobs? In my opinion, a good coach needs more experience, needs to get back to a top level. I want someone I want the next U.S. men's national team coach to be someone who's been there, done it in the MLS, been there, done it in one of the top leagues in the world, right? The Bundesliga, the Premiership, and yes, I will throw MLS in there. It's a top 10 league in the world. Tab Ramos has done it for a year at Houston Dynamo, and then now is coaching in the USL. Why? That right there, he might be a good coach, but you don't have the experience anywhere close, and not just international experience, the experience in general, to be there for me.
Which then leads us now to the current coach of the championship club Norwich, David Wagner.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. He's kind of bounced around the last couple of years. He was in the Bundesliga for a little bit. He does find himself at Norwich at the moment. He's taken over a club there. He's only been there for a couple of months. I think he himself will realize he doesn't have quite the experience that's needed. He has, as I said, bounced around. He hasn't been at clubs for years on end. He hasn't built anything at clubs. He has been there to fix things, to try to save relegation or help promotion. He does not have any idea how USA Soccer, the international setup, works, because he only played for a couple of games back in his playing days for USA Soccer. Not an ideal candidate, in my opinion. Just a nice name that's being floated out there because he is kind of high up in the EFL with Norwich, but no, not in my opinion.
And then leading into our final two candidates before we get into yours. This next one, loved in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about him.
I lost my list here. Giovanni Savesi.
Yep.
He's had a lot of success there. He's done well. I don't know. I think he's only popped up on this list because of his name, to be honest. I don't think he really. It just doesn't make sense to me with the other candidates on the list. Jim Curtin, Jesse Marsh. There's two or three other candidates out there that I think could be considered. I don't know how he made it so high on this list personally. Again, he's done well at Portland. He's taken them to an MLS Cup final a couple of years ago where they lost. He's done very well with big names and personalities and egos. I just don't. It's just not for me. Not for me. I consider him a good coach, but not a great coach. I would need to do more research myself to see why that would be a good fit.
That's fair. So this next one is the number one on this list, and I don't know where he fits into your top three, if he is in the top three. The former Leeds manager in Jesse Marsh.
Yeah, he's young. He's been through the MLS system, played and coached. He's been through the Bundesliga for a little bit. He's obviously was at Leeds for a little bit. He saved them from relegation last year. He then got fired a couple of months ago. He almost signed with Southampton, but he wanted a long-term contract. Southampton didn't want to give him a long-term contract, which means maybe Jesse Marsh is already turned off from the U.S. men's national team because he really wanted to go to Southampton. He wanted to remain in England and the Premiership. I do like Jesse Marsh as a candidate, but he would need to have people around him. And as we said earlier, maybe it is a Jim Curtin who comes in as an assistant coach. Jesse Marsh plays a very pressing system, high energy, and I think that does work for USA Soccer. I like his brand of soccer. I like what he brings. He is very good at motivating. I like the candidate. I really do. Top three for me for sure, if not number one or two. But I think Jim Curtin and Jesse Marsh could work well together or separately as the coach. He has the international experience as well, by the way. He was the assistant coach for the 2010 World Cup. He was the one who scouted England in the early games of that World Cup and then helped USA get to a draw 1-1 in that game. So he has the experience there. He has experience in a big league, in two big leagues. He has what it takes. Whether he wants a job or not he hasn't come out and said no. He hasn't come out and said yes. So there's a possibility he could be it.
Okay. So you have a couple that were not on this list. We've gotten some other comments about other potential candidates. Who else do you have that's not on this list?
So Marcelo Bielsa, the former Leeds manager, he has a lot of experience, but the problem, a lot of people have been floating his name out there. He usually sticks around a club for about 1 to 2 years. I think his his average is 1.83 years at a club. That's not ideal. We've got 3.5 years. He needs to be here for 3.5 years. So I don't think that's him. He was actually at Leeds for just shy of 4 years, but only ever signed a 1-year rolling contract. He helped them get promoted. He played very nice, attractive soccer. The problem is, from week to week, he could win 4-0 with Leeds, and then the next week he would lose 4-0 with Leeds. So you never knew what you were going to get. Beelzebub is very strange. So he's on a lot of people's lists. I say no to him. Steven Gerrard's name has popped up recently. Former Aston Villa manager, former Rangers manager, former Liverpool great, obviously. Great player, good dude. Not enough experience, in my opinion. His weaknesses really showed at the top level at Aston Villa. He did not know how to manage the players there. He did not know how to manage games properly. Cross him off the list. If I find that he is even being interviewed by USA Soccer, I will be very unhappy. One other one that I have that nobody actually has thrown out there is former Germany World Cup winning coach Joachim Low. Yes, and I can see the comments now about him. He does some strange things on sidelines. Very
strange things on the sidelines.
But he's a World Cup winner, and he is a very good coach. I know that he has left the German national team in tatters. He left them in a bad situation, but that not altogether his fault, you know. But I'd like to see him at least interviewed. Former Spanish coach Luis Enrique as well. I'd like to see interviewed. Has a lot of experience, knows how to deal with big personalities and young players. So another one I'd like to see interviewed at least.
Okay. Some more coming in here. This one's from Nate. And Brooks, by the way, says no to Marsh as well. Just putting that out there. I want to make sure I pronounce this correctly. Matarazzo, is that how you pronounce it? Matarazzo?
Who's he? Matarazzo? Oh, my good Lord.
Stuttgart, former manager who won promotion and kept it afloat, most importantly, a New Jersey native. And as we know, we cannot have a USA coach not from New Jersey.
Every USA coach has been from New Jersey. It's been bizarre, except for one, Klinsmann. It has been bizarre. No, I don't think he would be a good fit for the USA coach. Sorry, Nate.
Hey, there's a lot of candidates out there. We did not once talk about the next general manager candidate, who that should be. And does that person, because the way U.S. soccer is set up, it's very, very interesting how and I actually feel like that's actually one of the biggest hindrances that we have in the United States is just how USSF is run. Mm-hmm. Right, and how it's managed. Again, just the thought process. You gotta get your house in order first before you can hire a coach, and making sure that the general manager, the sporting director, all understand what the goals are. Because I still, looking at the talent we have on the field today, and in this country, I still think we're 4 World Cup cycles away from being where we want to be, if not more.
I think we're a little closer than that.
Okay.
I think if you see the number of players, young players, late teens, early 20s that are being sent over to play in the Bundesliga and play in the Premiership, we have players right now that are at the top levels of the game. If you think about Serginho Dest, U.S. men's national team player playing, think about all the players at Fulham and Leeds. We got Jedi Robinson, Tim Ream. Tim Ream is 35, so he's pretty much done, but a U.S. men's national team player, Aronson, McKinney, Tyler Adams at Leeds. We have players in these top leagues. If we can just kind of round them into some sort of formation and tactics with the right coach, that's why it's so important. I think the round of 16 in the World Cup is the minimum that we need to get to in 2026. I think we need to get to the semifinals, or it's semifinals or bust, and that's what it'll be, because we have so much talent right now that just every month there's new players getting sent over to play in the Bundesliga, sent over to play in the Premiership, or sent over to play in the EFL. I think we're really close. Do I think we'll win 2026? No, but I think if we continue this trajectory, 2030 isn't, that could be the year, because if you think about in the last, let's say 20, 25, 24 years for USA Soccer, it's just continuously done this. Yes, we had that little blip where we missed 2018, but I think with the players we have, it's good. Christian Pulisic's got 2 more in him, 2 more World Cups in him. Giovanni Reina's got 3 in him. Tyler Adams has got 2. Aronson's got 2 or 3. I think we've got a nucleus for a really, really good team, especially if these other younger players keep coming up.
I asked this question. I've asked it to many people who have sat in your chair over the last 6 months and the other chairs in the studio. Is taking the United States men's national team players right now and tell me which one of our players, any one of them, would have started in Argentina.
Yeah, that's probably none. Probably none. I mean, you would have had three or four who could have made their bench. But no, Argentina's on a different level, right? Argentina and France right now, both of those two nations are on just a different level. And what a lot of people don't know about Argentina is they say, oh, they're old because Messi, right?
Yeah.
Messi's 35. But what they don't know, Enzo Martinez, the midfielder who just went to Chelsea for 25 million, he's in his early 20s, so he's got another 2 World Cups left in him. Martinez, the sweeper for Man United, he's got another 2 or 3 World Cups left in him. Emi Martinez, the goalie, he's got another 2 World Cups left in him. They are going to be good for the next 2 World Cups. France are going to be good for the next 3 World Cups, and Didier Deschamps just re-signed, so he'll be there for another World Cup for sure. I think you've got 3 or 4 U.S. men's national team players that fit on the bench for Argentina and for France, but other than that, no one fits into the starting lineup because those two nations are just head and shoulders above everybody.
And the reason why I ask this question is because I think it's important from a U.S. soccer fan standpoint to understand that we can have all the talent in the world, but if our talent doesn't match the talent on the field and the other side of it, that's where. And again, as a team, as in a unit, yes, you can go on a run. Right. I think the way the U.S. men's national team played this past World Cup cycle, I think they did a phenomenal job. I think that their formation, their pressure, their decision making, everything was really, really above what we thought and the expectations were going to be. But in order to go into a quarterfinal, the semifinals, right, you have to beat the likes of a France, of an Argentina potentially, right? Beat some of these teams to get there, and I just don't know how you can do that talent for talent. And that's the problem.
I agree with you, but there's a lot of strategy involved too, right? So in the next World Cup, if you come up against in the opening knockout rounds or semifinals, quarterfinals, if you come up against a Morocco or a Holland or a Wales or someone like that who scoots through, right? Then it doesn't become out of the question that you could get to those semifinals or finals because some of those teams now. Everybody said, well, that's all luck. No, it's not. 2 World Cups ago, England looked at it and went, wait a minute. If we draw this next game, we're going to, I forget who they played. We could play this team instead of France. So what did they do? They drew the game. They drew the game 1-1. And then they beat that team and then didn't meet, and then they met Belgium in the semifinals. There's a lot of strategy involved and a lot of luck, don't get me wrong. But there are some teams that got through to the next rounds that you're like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Right? And the USA, in my opinion, would be head and shoulders above some of those, above the Wales, above Morocco. Morocco, yes, came together and played very nicely, but they were the Cinderella story and rode their luck. But I don't think they're that far away based on the players I see now. But we have so many good young players. We have such commitment from these young players that's why it's so important to get the sporting director and the coach in place. The sporting director and the next coach are the ones who decide what formation we play. Are we going to be pressing? Are we going to sit back and be counterattack soccer? What are we going to do and how are we going to play based on the players that we have? So that it's just so important to get those pieces in place as soon as possible.
I couldn't agree with you more. Craig, thank you for joining me here today. I appreciate it. It's a great conversation. I hope all of you who watched and tuned in today got as much out of it as I did. It was fun to have Craig Hearn. Craig Hearn can be seen on We Are Soccer on Sunday nights, 9 to 11 on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn like I am, but
not on LinkedIn, but Twitch.
Twitch, yep. So everywhere we're going to be. He's joined by Nate and Brooks Lambier. So that's always fun. And again, Sunday nights. Real quick, you can listen to this whole show on all listening platforms here. It'll be available later this morning on all listening platforms. And again, this will be available on demand wherever you like to watch your videos. Reminder, we'll be back here Thursday morning for a whole other show, 10 a.m. We'll cover MLS and what happened this past weekend, talk about the season. Hey, who is going to win the whole damn thing? That's a good conversation to have.
Yep.
It is a domestic league, but it is here, and that's where we are, so we're going to talk about it. So, but either way, that'll do it for us here. Craig Hearn, again, thanks. John Turner, Steve Besk may be back on Thursday if his stomach is feeling a little better. Well, as long as it is, he's not contagious, you can stay away or you can come in. All depends on how that all goes. But thank you very much for presenting partner, Granite City Food and Brewery. Again, it's Taco Tuesday at Granite City, and it's Pasta Wednesday tomorrow. So, Pasta Wednesday. So, either way, well, thanks, Brooks. No, great job to John, but great job, Craig. That's fair. Whatever. We're anyways.
Thank you, John. I appreciate you letting me come on, man. I love talking soccer, and anytime. Man, appreciate it. Love it.
Awesome. And that'll do it for us. The Morning Overlap. We'll see you next time on the Michigan Soccer Network.